Every day, you and hundreds of millions of people across the world use apps like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat to get news and information. But how often do you verify that the information you're receiving is real and truthful or fake and deceptive? Dr. Lei Guo, a professor at the Boston University School of Communication, explains that with modern communication technologies, the barriers to entry have never been lower. Anyone can set up a website propagating conspiracy or distribute a fictional news story on social media purporting to be real news. Today, almost no barriers or reviews have to be passed in order to post things on social media. While this is a great feature, allowing hundreds of millions of people to freely express themselves every day, it also leaves us very exposed and vulnerable to fake news. Fake news has very real and dangerous consequences and must be combated. In this speech, I will briefly explain to you the history of fake news and how it was revolutionized by the coming of social media, provide some examples of fake news and its very real consequences, as well as what steps you can take in the future to avoid fake news. While fake news has surged in the last decade, it is certainly nothing new. According to the Smithsonian, fake news has been around since the time of the Enlightenment, when newly formed ideas of the press allowed people to freely publish their ideas without much barriers. Even back in 1798, President John Adams wrote, "There has been more new error propagated by the press in the last 10 years than in 100 years before." As the idea of free press grew across the country and across the world, so did fake news and its ability to spread as people and societies began to publish whatever they wanted. Fake news has been revolutionized multiple times throughout history as new technology and media platforms have been created. One of the earliest pieces of technology that paved the way for fake news was the printing press. The printing press's changeable letters allowed fake news to be spread from one location across a broad area. Radio and TV further expanded the ability for fake news to be spread from one central location to the whole country or possibly even the world. However, fake news saw its greatest explosion with the birth of the smartphone and the age of social media. Social media has almost no barriers to entry, allowing anyone in the world to sign up and start posting. This means people can easily spread fake news and information to millions across the globe with simply a click of the button. And because many accounts online are anonymous these days, the hurtful and deceptive information posted never faces consequences. While the people who post the fake news rarely face consequences, the victims of their deception certainly do. For example, as COVID-19 fear sweeps across the United States, so does fake news surrounding the topic. Recently, a man was in the news for dying after ingesting cleaner he used in his koi pond. He foolishly decided to try the homemade remedy after reading online that a chemical contained in the cleaner could help ward off COVID-19. This was not the case, and the toxins in the cleaner proved fatal, and the man died as a victim of fake news. While that example may seem outlandish, and you may think that you can do a better job at deciding what is real and fake. I want to show you this example of a deep fake posted on YouTube. The man made this video of Obama.
An era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time, even if they would never say those things. So, for instance, they could have me say things like, I don't know, Killmonger was right, or Ben Carson is in the sunken place, or, how about this, simply, President Trump is a total and complete dipshit. Now,
while the video does look very real, it is in fact fake. New technology and artificial intelligence has made it easy for people anywhere on any platform to create fake news that can trick uncareful people. However, fake news can be even deadlier if the scale is larger. For example, in 1986, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded in the USSR, releasing tons of nuclear radiation. In order to protect their perception from the rest of the world, the Russian government lied about what happened at Chernobyl and the severity of the situation. As a result of their lies, proper safety precautions were not taken. For example, people in the surrounding towns were not evacuated. As a result, hundreds of thousands of people over time died as side effects from the nuclear radiation. The Russian government's fake news had very real consequences and led to hundreds of thousands of innocent people dying. And this is just one of many cases of governments across the world using fake news that ended up in their own people being hurt. So what can we do to protect ourselves from this fake news and ensure that we are not led astray by bad information? One big way to avoid fake news is to avoid anonymous or unverified accounts on social media. Oftentimes, people use anonymous accounts to hide under a cloak of invisibility and use this invisibility to spread misinformation without facing real consequences. Oftentimes, if somebody isn't releasing their identity, it's for a bad reason. Another way to verify that the information you're receiving is true is look at the person's sources. If the person cites credible sources, that often means that their information is credible. However, if the information you are looking at has almost no citations or information to back it up, there's a good chance that the information is just made up. Lastly, companies are beginning to see that they need to take part in the battle against fake news. Companies like Instagram and Facebook have started to install programs that you can use to help spot fake news. Pay attention to posts and warnings that may show up around them that can warn you of fake news. We are exposed to fake news now more than we have ever been. With social media and hundreds of other media platforms across the world, we are more connected than we have been in the past, but more vulnerable. But if we are alert and proactive, we can protect ourselves and others from fake news and live a healthy and safe life.